In this video we're going to have a look at expanding some algebraic expressions. I'm just going to refer back to our numerical number system. If I'm multiplying 3 by 7, alright, from my 3 or 7s times tables I know the answer is 21, but I can actually work this out as an algebraic approach. If I multiply 3 by 7, I'm going to take the number 7 and split it up into two numbers. I'm going to say, instead of 7, I'm going to say 5 plus 2. 5 plus 2 is 7, so that works. Now I've still got a 3, okay, being multiplied. So instead of 3 times 7, I'm now breaking it up into 3 times 5 plus 2. And from here I can say, well, this answer could be worked out by saying 3 times 5 plus 3 times 2. Now I know 3 times 5 is 15, and 3 and 2 is 6. And then 15 plus 6 gives me the answer of 21. Now I know there's 4 steps involved rather than just knowing, alright, 3 times 7 is 21. But there is a method to what we can use here to apply for our algebraic expressions when we don't know what the answer actually is just by inspection. So if we're talking about algebraic expressions, let's say instead of 7, I'm now multiplying it by a variable. Alright, and I'm multiplying the variable x plus, let's go 3. Alright, 3 times x plus 3. Now this looks very strange because we don't have a whole number. 3 times 7, alright, whereas 3 times x plus 3. And to be able to work this answer out, or in this case expand the brackets, we need to follow this process, alright, because it works exactly the same. We're applying the same ideas. So let's have a look back here. I had 3 times 5 plus 2, and what I did was I multiplied the 3 by 5 first, and then I multiplied the 3 by the 2 to give me 3 times 2. 3 times 5 gave me 15, 3 and 2 gave me 6, and I was able to add them together to get 21. So let's apply the same ideas. Alright, so this 3 is going to get multiplied by the first number in the brackets, which is x. So 3 times x. And then I'm going to multiply the 3 by the second number in the brackets, 3 times 3. And finally, I know that we've got an addition in the middle, so let's keep that there. Let's keep the addition there. 3 times x would give me 3x, and 3 times 3 would be a 9, plus 9. So what I've done is I've applied the same ideas with our number system into our algebraic expression to give me an answer of 3x plus 9. Now that's as far as I can go for this example, because I don't know what the x is, alright, so I don't get a whole number, but I do get an expression of expanding the brackets. So this method is what we call the distributive law. Distributive law. Okay, essentially we multiply what's ever outside the brackets by every number inside the brackets. So let's have a look at another example. Let's say I've got 5x plus 4. Alright, very similar. And essentially what I do is I say I'm going to multiply the 5 by every number inside the brackets. So I'm going to have 5 times x and a 5 times 4 with an addition in between them. 5 and x gives me 5x, 5 and 4 gives me 20. So it's 5x plus 20. Now let's have a look and just see what happens if I've got a subtraction instead of an addition. 4x take 3. Let's go with this one. So same idea, I'm going to multiply the 4 by the x to start off with to give me 4x. This time I'm going to multiply the 4 by the 3, but I'm actually going to use as minus 3. Alright, so as a side note, if I've got x take 3, I can rewrite that as x plus negative 3. And that's what I'm kind of doing. Alright, instead of x take 3, I'm actually thinking to myself, that's the same as x plus negative 3. It works the same way. So this time, I'm going to multiply 4 by minus 3. And when I do this way, even though I've got a subtraction there, I'm still going to keep it as an addition. Alright, because I'm saying x plus negative 3. So there's actually really an addition in between them. I've got 4x, and then 4 times 3 is 12, but it's 4 times minus 3, so it's actually minus 12. Alright, and if I'm adding negative 12, I can just write that as just subtract 12. Alright, so I'm just taking a few shortcuts in there. So it's just be very mindful when you're talking about negative or subtractions. I'll do another example here. Let's say we've got minus 5, and we're multiplying it by x take 2. Alright, so this time, instead of 5 times x, I'm actually multiplying it as minus 5 times x, and then minus 5 and minus 2. Minus 5, minus 2. Okay, and similar to what we did over here with subtract 3 is the same as adding negative 3. I'm saying instead of subtract 2, I'm adding negative 2. Alright, so that's the idea. Minus 5 times x is minus 5x. Two negatives here end up becoming a positive, and 5 and 2 give me 10, so it's plus 10. Alright, so there's a few steps involved when you're dealing with negative numbers or subtractions. So essentially, this expanding brackets, okay, or expanding algebraic expressions, we're talking about the distributive law. Alright, so it's again just to recap, it's timesing the first number by every number inside the brackets. If you're dealing with negative numbers, make sure you include them in brackets, and just be mindful that you can actually change it as instead of take 3, you can add negative 3.